In 2011, I did a pension reform bill, and it was at the behest of the Georgia Chamber. And you might say, why does that matter to technology? Let me tell you something. The technology community really has been wanting this for 20 years. We finally passed it in 2011, a bill that allows private equity investment for the employee retirement system of Georgia. So that's already state employees. My brother sort of laughed and he said, why is that a big deal? Well, it is a big deal for technology. He said, well, why is it so hard to get passed? And I said, go visit the Georgia legislature. You'll see it's been 20 years trying to get it passed. Am I right, Brandon? So we were able to pass it finally in 2011. I'm very proud of my legislation. And we were able to get that done where now we can go up to 5% of the state employee retirement system being private equity investment, which is sort of silly. We're the last state in the country to do it. Now, some states have put too much money in private equity. We capped it at 5%. Should have been 10, but I'll tell you what I can get. 5%, at least we'll go up to 5%. You might ask, why is that a big deal? If you look at Valdosta State or Georgia Tech or University of Georgia, their private foundations, you know how much money they have in private equity? Over 50% of their funds are in private equity investment. Why? Cut to the chase, it juices your returns, and it's the place to be. You have to have a little bit of it to keep the funds sound. And to be honest with you, one of the best things Georgia does is we keep our pension funds well funded and sound fiscally. And if you look around at cities like Detroit, they're going under, you can look at the pension plans. You want to look at California, look at the pension plans. Georgia is avoiding that. This is a good little tool to help maybe get those returns stable and juice those returns where we keep those funds sound. And I'm very proud we were able to pass that. The other two things we did this session, Invest Georgia, was an initiative of Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle. I guess because I was fool enough to take on the pension people, and that was not an easy fight. He asked me if I would get involved with Invest Georgia, and we now have passed this legislation that will create a private equity fund for Georgia. If you didn't know, every state around us has one except Alabama. And the reason is we put so much money in Georgia Tech, we put so much money in University of Georgia, and ABAC, and all these research institutions in Georgia, Valdosta State, Georgia Southern. We created all these jobs. How many jobs have come out of Georgia Tech? It's unbelievable. But we've had 25 companies in the last 10 years leave Georgia after we put all this investment in it. They go to Boston, they go to Denver, they go to Austin, they go to Silicon Valley. They go where the capital is. And now we find in South Carolina who has a fund, Tennessee, Florida, picking off more Georgia companies after we put all that investment. So we created this fund in Georgia. We passed the legislation. We put in place a very sound, again, like we run the pension system. We put in a very sound structure. Again, thanks to Brandon, who was a big part of this. Why he helped us structure this for Georgia. I think you're going to see Invest Georgia, if we fund it, get it up and running. It's going to make Georgia a more competitive state when it comes to bioscience companies, when it comes to technology companies, and across the board. But particularly in the technology and bioscience sphere, we're doing a lot of good things in Georgia. Obviously, we're doing a lot of good things here if you look at Valdosta State. Last thing, part of that bill was angel tax credit extension. I don't know very many of y'all know that 150 companies in Georgia the last 2 years have put money into angel tax credits, which is money that's used for startup seed capital. We were able to extend that as well this year, which was critically important. It's only been around 2 years, and we didn't even pull the rug out from under those companies, so we did a 2-year extension. Those were 2 more bills that I worked on along with Brandon, the Lieutenant Governor of the Georgia Chamber. I'm very proud to report that we were able to get